'cause it happens every night.
Every old night.
And I ain't never met a riverboat dealer that could ever be a friend of mine.
No.
Summer heat never treats me kind, it leaves trouble on my mind. So I'm bidding farewell, putting in my notice, and I'll see you at another time.
This highway
does not know my name, and I don't care. No, I don't care. Headed my way for another place, and I got three
of them.
tires and a spare.
Just 3, man.
Just a white line gypsy getting out of Mississippi with just enough gas to get there.
Oh. Budgets live, not so live, from the Low Budget Live Bar and Grill here in beautiful southern middle Tennessee. And this is the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Low Lifers one and all for August the 21st, 2023, Monday, August the 21st. And it's good to see everybody. I mean, I can't see you, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. It's good to be back in the bar and grill here, talking into yonder microphone again. And I appreciate y'all tuning in once again for some silliness. This is all just silly. It's all silly. So this it hit me this morning. And it's I want to say it's sad to know that life is so busy and so crazy that you sometimes overlook, I want to say milestones, not to like pat myself on the back, but because it's anything but, I guess. But it's been 6 years since this craziness started for me, man. 6 years would have been really 10 days ago, and I missed it because life's just been stressful lately, and at times. And, work's nuts and all that. And you lose sight of the good sometimes. You lose sight of the positive, and this show has become that, man. It's been like I said, when I first started it, and especially when I started in this format, really changed the format up. It's therapeutic. It's cathartic to get on here and just get to ramble. I get to interview some really amazing people. This show has, just opened so many doors that I just never even saw coming when I started it, and so many relationships. It's also caused its share of heartache at times, heartburn, I should say. But yeah, they're 2017, and I know I do this every year, but I feel like it's necessary. But man, 2017, to think that we were doing this, and I say we, me, Darian Craig, who's now the Y'all Sweet Teas Are, my buddy Big C, who just got engaged 2 days ago. Who knew he could get a woman, let alone somebody that would agree to marry him? Big C, still one of my best friends to this day, just like Darian is. And we started this doing Instagram Live, man. Now there are Instagram Lives and TikTok Lives, and everybody's got a live. They're live streaming their fishing podcast. Beep, beep, beep. Hang on, where is it at? Hey, I got a fishing live show. They're everywhere now. And, man, we just on social media, and there weren't that many at all. And it started with really humble beginnings. And even if you go further than that back, Wesley Strader and I were doing really the first kind of, versions of this when I was fishing the FLW tour and traveling with the W. We were going live at night after our days on the water and stuff, and on Instagram Live, and then that kind of morphed into, hey man, I want to do a show. I want to figure out how can we get decent audio, and how can we make this feel like a podcast, but do it on a platform like Instagram where it's free. And y'all have all heard the stories. We had amazing shows back then from Roland Martin and Jimmy Houston and Bill Dance, Larry Nixon, all these people that I had on, and it was on Instagram Live, and so it would disappear because I did not even own a computer. That's where the name came from, Low Budget Live. I had some music equipment that I converted into podcast equipment, and that's kind of how it all started. And to think where it's at now, I'm sitting here and really a room that I built for this reason. It's a home office as well, but the bar and grill was, man, I'm just grateful. I'm grateful. This was all because of this show that I did this, and to think where it's at now, where we have sponsors, we have the low lifers that tune in each and every week, and I just want to say thank you. And I know I do that a lot, and maybe it gets lost in the shuffle of the show, but I say it every week because I do mean it, because getting to come out here once a week and do this is awesome, man. It's so cool. But I've been reminiscing, and I think I talked about that a few weeks ago when I was in Hot Springs. I was reminiscing about the old FLW days, and just so much has changed in the world of professional fishing, but so much has changed in my world personally since all this started. Whether that be, like I said, personal life stuff, losing my mother, losing my grandfather, some crazy things have happened outside of that, and then professionally, my life, with TH Marine has changed so much. That company's changed so much. My day-to-day, my dynamics there have changed. And then our bass fishing industry, man, in 6 years. So and I think that as I've turned 40, that's what's kind of hit me the hardest, as I think about, like, the Triple Threat and I have been together 10 years. And to think what's changed in our lives in 10 years, but to think since this show started in 6 years, what's changed in our little world. And man, time does fly by. It's very cliche, but it does. It flies by, and you've got to try to get a hold of it, and you got to try to enjoy each and every day. And that's something I'm trying to tell myself more and more as I get older, man. Take it all in, enjoy each day, but cannot thank you enough, you low lifers. And we didn't do a special show, and I'm hoping we'll get to in a couple weeks. So, an in-studio guest, I'm hoping we get to do a real fun one here. As I'm recording this today, Justin Atkins in second place, unofficially on Bass Track this morning up at Champlain. They postponed today, so they're going to finish up as you're listening to this on Monday. So I'm not sure what the results are going to be of that, but Justin, of course, won the Forest Wood Cup that this show started at, and he and I got to be friends during that time frame, and he's one of my close friends to this day, somebody that I pull for just exponentially, and he and his family are just fantastic people. And to see him doing good this week was just like, damn, I've got to talk about the OBL anniversary, 6 years of this, and don't plan on going anywhere anytime soon. But I'm hoping we get Justin in the bar and grill when he gets back from this New York run. He always does well at the St. Lawrence River. And he went from absolutely being on the bubble of getting kicked out of the Elite Series to this week, hopefully going to make that top 10, certainly look like it today, to vaulting himself up into the 50s in the points, and really a fighter's chance at making the Classic, man. So with one to go on the schedule at St. Lawrence, where he has some top 10s and almost a win, a couple years back. So holy crap. So cool to see. Atkins loves August. August Atkins. That's what he should have named his sweet daughter, is August Atkins, because he shows up and shows out in the month of August. But one of the best fishermen I know, and he's having a, kind of a rough time on the Elite Series, uncharacteristically so. And it's been fun to see, but it's crazy that it's been 6 years, and all that kind of ties together. But I love having him here in the bar and grill. So try to get him in and on, to reminisce about that a little bit. I like to do that. Y'all know we did that 2 years ago. And then last year I had Big C and Darian in the bar and grill with me to celebrate that as well. But can't say enough thank yous, though. Can't say enough thank yous. It would be fun to do like a best of show, to smash a bunch of things together. That's something that I don't know that I have the patience to go back and edit, or I don't watch. And I know a lot of people are like this week I got called out on something I said, and didn't even remember saying it. I don't watch this back. I know that may surprise some of you, but when I edit, I don't ever, once I hit record and then I turn the record button off, I don't really know. I mean, I can remember certain things, I guess, but I just don't go back. I'm not fascinated in watching myself. and so I don't know a lot of times what goes back. And so I think if I went back and watched those old episodes, I might throw up. I'll just be honest. I don't know if that's something that I could do to go back and hear this weed eater freaking sounding voice. But just to think, in 6 years, we didn't even have this. Didn't even have that. Didn't even have that. 6 years ago when we started. Just think about that. Didn't even have that. But it's crazy to think about, man. It's crazy to think about bass fishing being the basis of this show and being one of the biggest loves of my life since I was a small child, and to think that I could get to do this weekly and people tune in. It's awesome, man. So thank you. I know I've said that to the point it's redundant, but thank you so much. We'll say a quick thanks to the sponsors. StarTron, Starbright, they've been in there since that 6 years ago. We put a bottle of StarTron, really as a goof, on the table, and then it turned into shaking the StarTron bottle. StarTron, kicking ethanol in the teeth in your weed eater and your chainsaw, most importantly in your outboard engine. Nobody likes an outboard engine being gummed up by stupid dumb ethanol. So pour some StarTron in the tank and kick it in the teeth. Enzyme-powered fuel treatment right there. Pro Guide batteries, new here in the last couple of years to the low lifer life, but good folks nonetheless, and mighty fine batteries. ProGuideBatteries.com is where you can find those. You can use code LBL10. They want to let you save money if you so choose to buy some Pro Guide batteries if you're a low lifer. LBL10, get you some of the lithium trolling motor batteries. Try one of those lithium starting batteries. You will not regret it. ProGuideBatteries.com. Baitworks.com. Bait-works.com. Bait-works. WRX.com. Get asked about that all the time. Bait-WRX.com. Dunkin-10. DUNKIN. Like the donuts. Saves you money there. You can get the LOB jigs, the jigs, with the Low Budget Live logo on the pack, a custom-built Trocar hook, power, finesse, jig, and I got to throw that bad boy some this week. And it gets a bite. It'll get a bite, y'all. I am very proud of how it turned out. I know I keep saying that. It's available in 7 colors in the finer than frog hair skirt material. Get them at baitworks.com. Hope y'all took advantage of that sale they had, that Square Bill sale they were running on those Strike King plugs last week. Good daggum people there in Springfield, Missouri. Check them out, baitworks.com. Last but not least, hang that stinking banner. Right there, some of y'all say that banner's crooked, and it could be. I eyeball stuff, and it's been hanging there for a couple years now, and we are very grateful for the folks at Express Boats in Hot Springs, Arkansas. Something that changed since this show started 6 years ago is certainly they have them a Bassmaster Classic and some of them Old Blue trophies in the office there in Hot Springs, Arkansas. The original all-welded aluminum bass boat, 21 feet of fury that X21 is, 96-inch beam, C-deck bow to stern, Yamaha 250 show, giving it the best hole shot in the game, in my opinion. I said that the other day. Somebody said, what about a blah, blah, blah? What about this boat? What about that boat? I don't know. I don't have those. But I do know that sucker goes, zip, zip, right out of the hole, buddy. Just rip, this deep, rip. Love it. Absolutely love that boat. More tackle storage than you can shake a stick at. And got to spend some time in that boat this week. I am on Operation, I call it Take My Life Back. What I mean by that is the water is where I think so many of us find our center, And I got in some afternoons this week, got back on the water a good bit. So grateful for that opportunity to get to do that in an express boat, because they've been building excitement since 1966. And if any of y'all comment, well, a sponsor takes 20 minutes to read through his sponsors, it's never taken 20 minutes, dude. Not one time. I see those comments all the time, and I'm like, okay. They're like, I like listening to this show you do every single week, but I don't want you to get any benefit at all from having sponsors. What? Yeah. The intro does, I've got the same format of the show, and the intro does take take some time because it's part of the show for me. It's like what I enjoy doing. Before we get to the interviews and all the good stuff, I also want to say real quick too that I'm working on. I don't want to say changing things, but adding to Low Budget Live. I'm working on it. A new side of Low Budget Live, maybe. This is a good way to put it. Still finalizing some details. Could happen as early as this week, so pay attention. Could be some, just kind of a different spin. So pay attention to that. 6 years in, I kind of want to add two things. Want to do some different things. As I mentioned there, fishing is life, and it felt good to get out on the water this week, man. I got to go with the LOB, little Trey Swindle, and put a beat down on some Tennessee River bass. I got to fish down on Wilson Lake down there for some shallow water smallies and largemouth on some top water. Come on. Had a good week, man. Good week. Like I said, taking life back. So mentally, I think it's important to you gotta take care of yourself, man. You got to no matter if stuff's getting to you, stressing out about work, and in the real world, you got to find what centers you up. And being on the water, golly, man, I just like being there I like going in the afternoons. During the summertime, even as hot as it is, when the sun's going down, man, that is like my favorite time. I don't even know how to really describe it, but that's my favorite time of day all year in the summer. Like that like hour window, not necessarily because like the fish are by. It's just, I love that. Whatever that is, bottle it up and I'll drink it. I love that. But got to do that a few afternoons this week. Made the time to do it. I think that's important, man. Make the time to do it. But got to do that this week, and in between watching that Bassmaster Elite Series up there on Champlain, watching that live scope battle go down. I was texting with Zona about it, because last week I think I said the water's high on Champlain, Flipper's paradise. Because I can remember a time, if the water ever got high on Champlain, largemouth were going to run off and leave everything. But I think it's twofold what's going on. You've got the smallmouth in there have certainly exploded, but we can exploit them now with forward-facing sonar like never before. And I know a lot of people are for it, and I know a lot of people are against it. I personally enjoy it. I don't like watching it as much on live, even commentating it. I do like learning, and I feel like there are things you can pick apart from watching the guys that are super dialed, like a Cody Huff, a Patrick Walters, a Justin Atkins, Fujita. I won't even try to say his first name because I'm going to butcher it. But watching these guys that are super dialed with forward facing, the little adjustments they make, whether it's in lure weight, whether it's in line size, different things. And that's things I've picked up on commentating MPFL, but that you start watching, when you're watching Bassmaster Live. But I get why people don't enjoy watching it, because it is watching a guy stare at a screen, and it's just where we're at. It has, again, in 6 years to think about that, where we are. We're seeing August Champlain weights through the roof. Some of the best stringers we've seen in an Elite Series on Champlain ever, if the best, and it's all smallies. Largemouth aren't even playing a factor at all for the most part, and it's kind of crazy to see. It really is crazy to see, but it's one of those things that if I was doing it, if I was up there, I would be doing backflips on the boat. But if I'm watching it, yeah, it is what it is. The drama of watching them trying to get them in is still kind of exciting on light line. But y'all drop a comment. Where are you at on that? Where are you at on watching live scoping? Where are you at on that? I see it. I see people, I don't want to watch this. And some people are like, you're just an idiot because you can't afford it. And those battles take place online. But where are you at on the live broadcasting of live scope? It's not going anywhere, obviously, and it's super fun to do. You can catch a lot of bass, but where are you at on that? Live watching, live scoping. It's a thing, and you're going to get more of it at the St. Lawrence River. It's not going anywhere. And I think that technology, is going to only get better. And what the future holds is kind of scary in that light. And y'all know I'm a Garmin guy. I love LiveScope. I have since the beginning, but man, it is certainly changing things by the minute. Bassmaster Elite Series, you've got a really interesting group in that top 10 going into Monday. Looks like with some names, the Jay Shakir, Alex Redwines, Justin Atkins in the mix. Fujita is just freaking smashing up there. It is fun to watch that, and I think that's what the Elite Series has given us this year is the common household names have really not been in the mix as much, and it's a lot of new names, and it's been really fun to watch these guys develop and into superstars. And it's like Brandon Cobb, he's got a big lead leaving Champlain, headed in the St. Lawrence River for the Angler of the Year, and couldn't happen to a better guy, Brandon freaking Cobb, with a chance to pull it off there at St. Lawrence. Going to be a photo finish. It really spread out this week at Champlain, though, because I was talking when I had Joey C on about how tight that race was, and it's really there's a bigger gap in it now for sure. He's got a several point lead there over Kyle Welcher. All right, we're gonna get the sauce from this man right here. This man right here. He's been on this year already. He's been on a few times. He is one of those guys that will call me on my BS. I like it. When he disagrees with me, he'll shoot me a text. He'll call me. He's on the MLF side of things. He was leading the Angler of the Year race going into that last event, and barely, I'm talking about barely, a 5-point deficit from winning it. Ends up 16th in the final event. Doesn't make the top 10. Wasn't able to take it home. He started his professional career on the Bassmaster Elite Series just in 2017. So the same year this show starts. And in that time frame, he's won just over a cool $1 million. Bass fishing millionaires running around wild. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get him on the phone. He's a new daddy this year as well. Alton Jones Jr. He'll probably send me the voicemail or something. Everybody's been doing that lately.
What's up, Luke?
Little Alton. You'll always be Little Alton to me, by the way. Welcome to Low Budget Live.
Thanks, man. I do that. Everybody always asks if that bothers me, the whole Little Alton thing, but it's what I've gone by for forever. Anybody that knows my dad, that's just who I am.
Well, it's for me, it's like you and Sam George. Y'all are bros, and Sammy's my little buddy, but Sam will always be little Sammy to me. I don't care. I know he's a dad. You're a dad now. You guys are growing up. I'm getting fatter and older by the minute. But
hey, I am right there behind you, I promise.
It happens, bro. It happens quick. But yeah, he'll be little Sammy and you'll be little Alton forever. I can't help myself. I apologize. And you are anything but little Alton. Dude, I just read this stat line, and I like to do this for guests because you don't strike me as a guy that's you're too busy, first of all, to go looking through your stat line. You're out here filming, you're catching the crap out of them all the time, all over the country with BPT. But dude, since 2017, and I remember this very well because you got into the Elite Series, you'd been trying, you and Sammy, y'all traveling around the country in the opens, and you get to the Elite Series. So just 6 years. It's 6 years, dude. You've won over $1 million freaking dollars. That's awesome. I mean, bass fishing millionaires are not easy to find in the winnings category, buddy. And that's freaking great.
Well, I tell you, the trick to making $1 million in bass fishing is spending about 2.
I was gonna say start with 2.
Yeah. No, man, it's been a wild ride. It's had its ups and downs, but I mean, the last 3 years especially, have been everything I could dream of and more from a competition aspect.
Yeah, man, and I had you on, I guess earlier this year. We've done LBL a few times together, and you're always a guy I genuinely enjoy speaking with, and I think I asked you, why now? Why is it firing on all cylinders? Because you've always shown signs. I mean, dude, we knew. I think as an industry, you're out there touring around with your dad. You grew up on the trail. You always had an addiction to bass fishing. We always just knew, all right, he's going to be one of those guys that we're going to have to deal with. Like, he's going to catch them. And now, dude, it's like you're just like mixing it up with the Ott Defoes and the Jacob Wheelers and the Jordan Lees. And like, dude, you're one of those names now. Like, I don't think you could have a conversation of top 10 doing it right now and your name not be on that list, man, at all. And it's a hell of an accomplishment.
Man, it's weird to even say those names next to mine, because like I tell people this all the time, like I don't know how it works out. I don't feel like I'm as good as these guys, and I think that's a good thing, because it makes you work harder. I think obviously had a really good base. We've talked about it before, kind of the inside track that I had to just seeing the life of a bass pro, learning these lakes, seeing how to break them down. But I when I got to the opens, I took a beating.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of had to get my feet kind of like learn that next gear of work ethic. The next year I qualify for the elites. I take a beating. I kind of got to find, okay, there's another gear I got to find over that. And every year over year, whether it was elites or Bass Pro Tour, I've had to kind of dig a little deeper, be it whether it's in practice, in the tournament, pre-practice, and just kind of say, like, I'm just tired of losing.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You look at in seeing guys like, you've got Jordan and Lucas and Wheeler. I mean, guys that are winning Angler of the Years, Classics, BPT championships. And like, it's frustrating. I mean, those guys are like in my age group.
Yeah.
And so it shows you what is possible. And so it's just kind of, you gotta kind of let it light a fire under you and get to work.
I think, and like you said, those guys, you guys are in that same age bracket, for sure. And to be, that's actually, you kind of threw me off my game even saying that, because I'm thinking, oh my God, those guys all are around the same age and they're just crushing life. As professional bass fisher, makes me feel like the biggest loser sitting here right now. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, holy crap, what are you doing with your life, buddy?
I don't know about crushing life. I fake it till I make it. I promise you, I run around like a chicken with my head cut off as much as anybody.
Hey, I love that though. You said something about you don't consider yourself one of those names, and I think that's important in life. A friend of mine and I, we were talking about that this week, and no matter whether it's fishing, whatever it is, music, whatever you're doing in your regular job, if you can't read the press, and I don't think you can ever get comfortable, because I think the second you do in life, unless you've just got $1 gajillion in a trust fund and you can just go live on an island somewhere, and that's a very, very small percentage of people in the world.
Who doesn't have that?
Yeah, who doesn't have that? I think you've got to stay hungry in life, because I have people ask me all the time. They're like, "Dude, why do you do so many things? Like, you've got a good career. Why do you?" And I'm like, "Man, I live like I'm broke." You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm that guy. I said it last week on the show, in a reference to homeless people in Nashville, Tennessee. You'd have to see the episode, Little Elton. Is I could be that guy, right? Like, I'm not taking shots because I know I walk a fine line of being the guy in a cardboard box. That's just been my whole thing, and I think that's it's a very good way to live, man. And I think that fake it till you make it's another good statement, because on paper, especially with fishing, at the end of the day, when we look at the standing sheet, I always say this: there's such a paper thin line between first place and 50th.
It's incredibly thin. Incredibly thin. I mean, I'm sitting here while we talk, watching some of the stuff from Champlain, and you can just look at how stacked those weights are.
Yes.
And I mean, one bite can be the difference. And I mean, you look at the dude that finished 52nd and missed the cut. He smashed them this week. He
For
was
sure.
so close.
They're crushing. And
So.
on a lake like that, though, there's a difference in a 310 and a 312. You know what I mean? Just like your whole week can be changed right there. Well, I think it's something that's interesting. I was just, putting some notes down and thinking just about your career and your overall style. And it's cool. Your dad, and I've talked about this on the show, your dad, when I was a kid, was just that guy. And when he was on his runs in the 90s, and I can remember the TNN Bassmaster days, but he was one of the guys that made me go, all I want to do is sight fish for bass. To my own dad, I'm like, take me somewhere I can see a bass right now. And he's like, well, it's February.
Right.
Tennessee, we can't see one, son. That tournament was last year that we're watching on TV. And I was like, but I want to be able to see one. And I got obsessed with it, but I would watch and I would read his magazine articles and things. And you are a guy, it's cool seeing you because you're a fantastic sight fisherman. And I love that because you excel at it. And it's like watching your dad, but then you're this guy that, oh, I'm throwing glide baits. Oh, I'm out here throwing a jerk bait on forward facing, but like you've adopted you're so dang versatile. But I feel like that speaks to everyone in that group you mentioned, that generation. You guys aren't one dimensional at all.
Yeah. I mean, it really, when it comes to like longevity in this sport, consistency is the name of the game. Don't get me wrong, the home runs are what we all live for, but like, especially if you're semi early into your career, those $10,000 checks are what you survive off of. And, you've just got to be able to adapt and adjust and really just not be too stubborn. A lot of guys, I'm one of everybody on tour. I mean, I'm good at sight fishing. Like I'd say that's my strength, but like everybody on tour, they grew up fishing one body of water, one region. And I feel like they're masters at one particular thing. Now they're versatile. They can do it all, but I kind of feel like I don't have that particular thing because I grew up fishing all across the country. I never spent a bunch of time on a single body of water. So I fish a couple days on Champlain every year, a couple days at Okeechobee every year, a couple days at Grand Lake every year, a couple days in Minnesota every year. So like, I've actually kind of been thinking about this a lot, as I'm getting further into my career, we're designing baits and doing just a little bit more of the business side with companies. And I'm like, they're like, well, what are you a master at? And I'm like, nothing.
I love that. You don't have to be. Yeah.
I'm like trying to get all smart and sciencey with it. And I'm just like, I feel like I'm not a master at anything, but I'm decent at a lot of things. And so I credit that to, my upbringing and then just really, really just the way competitive fishing is now. If you're not, you're going to pay the price.
But I do feel like though, you strip all that away. And if Alton Jones Jr. has got his pick, he's going somewhere where they're laid up on the bed.
Oh yeah, no, there's no doubt. I mean, that's.
I was going to say now, you are. I do feel like you're a master at that. Yeah, and
yeah, I mean, I'm good at it. So I mean, you say I'm a master at it, but dude, like my dad will still outside fish me.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How old's your dad now?
It's just a patient game. 60.
So he's still got them peepers on him though. He can still see them good at 60.
That's one of the things in the Jones family. We got that 20/20 vision, I guess. I don't know.
That's awesome.
Two things I got looking well for me in the fishing world is a full head of hair and some good eyes. So.
See, my dad, he can't see anything and he's bald, and I'm so mad right now. That's not fair. Combo. That's a rough and I'm losing my damn hair and. I've always, dude, I had eagle eyes. Okay. Like that's always been and as I get, okay, I'll admit this on camera, I'm getting to where I can't see them as good. And I don't like it. I don't like it. I'll be with buddies that are like, you see that one? And I'm like, I don't. And used to, I was the guy that was seeing them when nobody else in the boat was seeing them. And I'm like,
right.
40 is a rough mountain to climb, my friend.
Yeah. I mean, I can definitely, I mean, I would say I can't see as well as I could 7 or 8 years ago, but I still feel pretty comfortable doing it.
Yeah, you're still G cracking them in the head, dude. You're
exactly.
Do you think that and that's something that I wanted to talk about is your relationship with, because that's not an atypical company, right? And I think that is I think it's really cool that your career has exploded and you've been able to use their products and bring them to people that really didn't know who the heck they were just a couple of years ago. Yeah. And I think that's so cool to see, because the fishing industry, and I talk about this week in and week out, but it's a lot tougher now. And I think you can speak to that as well. Sponsorships aren't easy. Those relationships are very tough now, way tougher than ever before. So being able to, and when I mean not that atypical, I'm not talking about a Strike King, right? It's not a Berkeley. And dude, they invested in you. You're their guy, and you're like, oh, hey guys, watch this. Grand Slam for G-Crack. Talk about how that relationship has been.
Yeah, I mean, it's been awesome. So, when COVID hit, I'd actually found G-Crack just like the fall before COVID hit, and fell in love with their bellows gill and sight fishing with it, and doing all that. When COVID hit, I lost my current bait sponsor. They just decided to budget cut mid-season, and so I ended up running into Kazuki Kitajima, who was the pro staff manager for G-Crack USA at a boat show, and he'd gotten me some baits, so we just started talking, and I was like, hey, this fall I don't have a bait sponsorship. If you want to talk, let's talk. No big deal. And so we did. They were just kind of trying to get their feet wet in the U.S. market, and here I was needing a bait sponsor. So, we decided to link up, and it's been an awesome relationship. It's really like, you talk about glide bait addictions and things like that. Dude, I'm so far down the rabbit hole in the JDM market, you wouldn't even believe. Like if you saw the boxes that come to my house, you'd be like, what does this guy fish for? I don't even know. Like, so
you got the fuzzy dice around there. Is what you're saying? There's just stuff spiders and all kind of weird stuff.
I've had it. It's just been. Every package I get, I can't read the package. It's all in Japanese, but it's been really cool. Like I think they've opened my eyes, and the JDM market and the US market are very, very different. And I think we're doing a really good job of kind of bringing in the blend of both, right? There's definitely a need for some of their tactics and things like that, but it also kind of needs to be Americanized at the same time, because our fishing styles are so different. I actually spent all day in the boat with one of the guys from G-Crack yesterday, and had dinner last night, and we're sitting down sketching baits, and it's crazy the ideas and the things that they come up with, but it really allows me to think outside the box. And it's kind of cool when you go to places like Gunnersville, one of the most pressured lakes in the country, where I have things that I can throw at these mega schools of fish that I'm fairly confident they've never seen before. So it's neat to have that in your pocket.
Yeah, inject that into my veins, dude. Like I love that. I have scoured, what is it, the hookup out in Arizona, the JDM website. I've scoured that thing for hours, looking just for. I love little, and I think you and I have talked about this before. I'm obsessed with, and this is a real like weird. I'll call it a fetish. Even it's a really weird thing in life. The bait fish on the Tennessee River are tiny this time of year, and they are all over the country. And you can catch, and I have done this for many, many years, but other than sight fishing in the fall, like I'm obsessed with schooling fish, and I always have been since a kid, and it's just fun, right? But it's very frustrating. And I have got some sneaky little JDM stuff that I've found over the years, little bitty baits that catch big bass. And dude, I'm constantly though scouring, because they do have, and I guess it's that, and you can speak to it more than me, but it's got to be the fishing pressure thing, I guess, that makes them think in that vein.
Yeah, and so I spent a lot of time with them at ICAST, and I had no idea the fishing pressure that those lakes get. You know, we have fishing pressure over here at Rayburn and Fork and Gunnersville, but I watched a video of one of the guys. He was headed out on Lake Biwa, and the entire lake looked like Harney Pond when they're spawning. Like, I mean, it was boats everywhere, and I was like, I'm starting to understand why they fish the way they do. Their forage is definitely different over there, but their fishing pressure is next level. So they really, really have to be super dialed. I mean, you look at any Japanese professional angler that's here in the States, and they probably have some of the most dialed tackle that you will ever see. And you kind of start to understand that. And as we see, I mean, dude, forward-facing sonar, while it's been an amazing tool and people can fight back and forth on whether it should be legal or not, but it's made bass fishing tougher in a way.
Yeah. Like, and you and I are Garmin guys. We're Garmin fans, obviously. Yeah. I actually said this before I called you. I mean, I love LiveScope, but it is changing things. It is changing things. I mean, it's making fish smarter. These are fish that used to not see baits. Now they're seeing baits. They used to go chase shad in the middle of the lake late in summer and never get touched, so that when they come back shallow, you're fishing for fresh fish, and that's just not the case anymore. And so, you know, as they get more educated, I definitely think you're going to see weirder, crazier tactics become more of a norm. I mean, you know, I think we're in the infant stages right now. You know, you got guys Damiki rigging and hover strolling and mid strolling, and I think this is the infant stage of where this is headed. When you start talking about all this strolling, mid-stroll, you might as well be speaking Japanese to me, dude, because I hear this stuff. It's like BFS. Bait for this is the BFS system. BFS. I've been seeing that a bunch lately, and I'm like, I don't even know, what does BFS stand for? I'm not sure. I'm scared. Like reading all these posts, I'm like, I don't even know if I can go bass fish anymore. I don't even know if I've got the tackle to do this
all anymore. You need to know about BFS is it makes a fairy wand look like a flipping stick.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I see some of the baits that are popping up in that world, and that BFS stuff, and it's really interesting because I, like you just said, I think that I'm finesse with like some 6-pound braid and some little sneaky stuff. And then I look at that stuff and I'm like, I don't think I'm finesse fishing at all anymore.
All right. I'll tell you though, I that's one of the places where I'm throwing some micro small baits, but I haven't gotten into that BFS stuff really yet. I mean, there's still a limit. Like when I talk about Americanizing some of their tactics, there is a limit to how finesse I will go. You know, because there's still so much of a speed side to the game. Over there, you know, when I talk about the pressure, they're kind of getting on the spot, sitting there trying to make that fish bite. And we just can't afford to do that as professional anglers. You know, you kind of got to take that and just speed it up just a little bit. And that's kind of what we're trying to do with all of our baits.
It's like that Van Damme mentality years ago. I remember a quote from him, and I'll butcher it, but that he's fishing for the 5 most aggressive fish in the lake that he can find in a day. Right. And even if you're finessing, that's essentially what you're doing, because you're right. You don't have time, especially in your world on BPT with the score tracker, because that thing's going off constantly and you're getting updates of what everybody and their mom's doing out there. And you got to try to keep your head in the game and adjust on the fly. And so, you're right. You don't have the time to sit there and let it soak. That is certainly the case. But what's the G-Crack? Don't they have a version of like this dice thing that we're seeing? What's their deal? I think I've seen you post about it.
We've got the Emo Kamushi.
And so, bless you.
Yeah, exactly. So we've got a 90, I think it's 95 millimeter, a 60 millimeter, and a 40 millimeter.
Hey, I don't even know what that means. I don't know what that means. Okay.
So basically, we got like a 3.5 inch version.
There we go.
Like a 2 1/4 inch version, and like a 1.5 inch version.
Oh gosh.
You know, the 1.5, the little 40 millimeter, that'd be similar size to the dice that has kind of, you know, taking notice. But you're familiar with the cover scat, like the high gravity sentence of baits. It's in that same family, right? Okay. So the Emo Ripper, little history here, is a G-Crack bait. It was created in 2017. Was the first high gravity bait of its kind. So they were actually the creators of that whole class that people see as the cover scat class. And so essentially the Emo Kamushi is an emo ripper just with skirt material all flowing through it. And they bite it. It's pretty incredible. It has like I've messed around a lot with it. It's even the fish that don't bite it, it has like a draw power, like a glide bait does, because
Really?
they've never seen it before. Yeah. I've had it's amazing the interest that a fish gets, even the ones that don't bite it. I'm not saying it's magic and every fish bites it. Now it generates bites, don't get me wrong, but the intrigue that it gets is incredible.
And this is the Emo Kamushi. That's how I got to say
Emo
that.
Kamushi.
Dude,
IMO.
Yeah, IMO. Okay, I was thinking emo, like hipster kid. Emo.
Yeah.
Emo rock.
Right.
Emo. I'm writing that down because see, ladies and gentlemen, you get this a day after I record, so I'm already going to be on the internet and have all these balls.
They're already going to be sold out.
They're going to be sold out before the low-lifers can get to them anywhere on the internet. Trust me, that's the benefit of recording on a Sunday and uploading on a Monday. I have done that multiple times. I've seen me do it. When I get the goods on the show, I've seen me do it on this show multiple times. I was picking Taku's brain on here one day, and he's just giving me. I mean, I'm talking about like I think my jaw might have been on the floor for the entire interview because he was just dropping what I felt like were just nuggets. And I'm going, I hope people aren't listening to this.
Yeah.
Because it's some good stuff, man.
Getting in the boat with, him or Kenta or even Fujita is just like, it's on my bucket list. Like,
of course, yeah.
I've spent some time, a very small amount of time talking to Taku on the phone with Jordan. At a couple times where we stayed together, and I'm just like drooling.
Yeah, I want to hear. I think be a fly on the wall for a conversation between Taku and Joe. I think I need the Jordan Lee Taku. I mean, I almost think it's like him and Zona are buddies, but I almost feel like there needs to be a translator there. But I will say I hooked all that up through. He had been with Zona, and Zona had told him, hey, you need to do LBL, and I don't know Taku, and we did it, and man, it's one of my favorite, will always be one of my favorite episodes that I've ever had the ability to do, and I worried about it. It was funny, like I texted him and I said, hey Taku, this is Luke Duncan with Low Budget Live. Mark Zona gave me your number, and he said, hi, I'm Taku. That was his reply back to my text, and I was like, this guy is amazing. And
dude, he's just got that, like, I've never met him in person, but I mean, I've been watching him, just like we all have as a fan, and you just can't help but smile watching him. So he's one of the anglers that I'm a fan of the sport as big as anybody else. I've got my man crushes,
for sure.
Anglers,
yeah,
he's one that I would love to go fishing with.
Yeah, and I told him that. I'm like, Taku, we got to go to Pickwick. Like I got to go see what Taku does down here on the home pond. I think that would be fantastic. The only problem I got with him is he beat Justin up there on the St. Lawrence River, and I gotta, my boy, and
I know.
That's
when he's got him another shot this week. He's catching him up.
I know. I'm nervous, man. I'm super nervous. I was nervous yesterday because he didn't get off to a real fast start, and I'm like, come on, dude.
I did. You and me both. I talk to Justin almost daily, and I talked to him last night, but I was like, dude, I checked Bass Track at like noon. I was out on the water filming, and I was like, no.
Yes.
Then he ended up pulling it out.
Yeah, and he ends up smashing it. Yeah, because he had texted me the night before, and he goes, dude, it's a huge day for me tomorrow. Like, I gotta keep this going because, man, and I talked about this at the first of the show, but it's incredible for me. And I don't think people that razor's edge we talked about or paper fine, thin line. Justin's one of the best anglers in the country. Period. End of story. His finishes the last couple of years on the Elite Series do not show that, but Justin is as dialed as anybody, and as confident of an angler as I've ever been around. And since making the switch from BPT back to the Elites, he's struggled. I mean, that's the only way you can put it, and he'll self-admit it. But to go from 2 weeks ago, being on the phone with him and really not know, same last fall, didn't know if he was going to be back. Did not know.
Yeah.
He told me, he's like, dude, I'm not like, if I don't have 2 good tournaments, like I'm having to figure life out. And now to hear them mention today, he's jumped up into the 51st, 52nd AOI, dude. with another good one at St. Lawrence, he could make the classic.
Which he's done, which he's had some. It's where he finished second to Taku. So
right.
yeah, it's amazing how roller coaster this sport is. And how we talk about how thin that line is and how many. I mean, dude, phenomenal anglers I've seen. I mean, growing up, I'm not names. Man. I may have said this on the show before, but like I've watched people come across that stage, like walk off in tears, knowing that that's their last Derby as a pro, and these are guys that I'm like, I mean, teach me a lot, they're, I mean, studs. So, a lot of it is, there's some right place, right time in the sport for sure. There's, striking while the iron's hot. And, I've had a phenomenal couple of years, but like we're talking about that fine line. And like, I think what pushes us as anglers is that this sport's so scary. Like why I work so hard is because I know how quick it can change.
Yes. Right.
And you want to dude, you can go from the top to the bottom really, really fast. And that's the scariest thing about this sport. I wake up every morning worrying about that next bite because it's not an easy thing to come by, and that's how you provide for your family. And it's a tough thing to handle mentally sometimes.
Well, and I think that speaks volumes to you growing up around it and knowing, and this is not me throwing shade at the past, and you can have this debate in any sport, right? Oh, LeBron and Jordan and blah, blah, blah. We can do this, but I do think, and again, no disrespect, because I have a lot of heroes from the time frames way before the one we're speaking about now. It is harder today to make a living. It's always been hard to make a living as a professional angler. Let me say that. Let me start by saying that. But to compete now and to stay at that level, it's harder now than it's ever been. Period. End of story.
I agree. I agree with that statement. Just we're in the age of like having unlimited information at your fingertips. Like I can watch it it used to be, dude, like, I mean, you name any angler, they go catch them on a square bill, and they could just say they were flipping, and this little square bill is their secret. And you know what I mean? That you had a photo from Gerald Crawford, and that was the whole story. Like
blast from the past.
And today, like, dude, if I want to see how some of the best guys from Japan or the best guys from California or the best guys from New York or Florida, if I want to see Bobby Lane flipping mats, I see exactly how he does it. He can't hide it. So the learning curve is so sped up, and you've got forward facing sonar, and you've got the greatest of all time combos and whatnot. And there's guys that we talk about. Kevin, I don't think anybody for a very long time is even going to rival that conversation. But any sport advances. I think NBA basketball is harder now than it was 20 years ago. Yes. I think football is harder now than it was 20 years ago, just because we've got more athletes trying to do it. We've got smarter people that are getting better care taking care of them. And, it's just like, it's the knowledge around the sport's just so much more than what it used to be.
Well, and you see all these, dude, like you're talking about Champlain right now. I'm looking at this top 10, was watching earlier this morning before you and I got on, and it's a lot of young guys in your age range, and they are, the Cody Huff and younger. Yeah. Cody Huff, Cody Huff's a baby. I interviewed Cody Huff 2 years ago after he won a college tournament at Toledo Bend. It was like, oh, that's cool. How are you? I hear good things about you, young man. And now he's like Elite Series Pro Cody Huff. That's, or 3 years ago, I think, maybe whenever he won at Toledo, but whatever the case was. But there's a lot of them, dude, and there are more coming all the time. And it is so competitive.
It's crazy. I feel like a kid. I still feel like the same kid that was running around with Sam George, staying at dirty hotels all across the country trying to save a buck. But they'll look at Marshall Robinson coming in.
Yes.
I'm 13 years older than he is.
Jeez.
Dude, to him, I'm an old man,
I get it.
So, it's just crazy how young and competitive these guys are getting at young ages.
Well, and Marshall, that's going to be a fun storyline to watch next year because you're not going to be the only father-son combo now out there on that Bass Pro Tour.
Yeah.
That one's cool, and I think we're going to have Laker Howell there eventually too with Randy. That's going to happen. Laker's
and I
great
could see
angler.
Cal as well.
Yeah,
you know? I mean, that's a whole trio of a generation that I think can do it successfully. And prior to me, it had been a while.
Yeah. Denny and Chad really. Probably the last.
Yeah, Denny and Chad, Guido and Dion.
Yep.
I get Lawson and Dion.
Lawson and Dion.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it's cool to see. Just some more people that kind of walk the shoes that I walked, and be doing it. So
let's talk about the fact that this year you're a new dad. You hadn't even been married long, man. Life's changed for little Al.
Well, you say long. It's almost coming up on 7 years now.
7 years? I don't feel like you've been married that long, dude. I don't feel. Holy cow! I kicked off the show by saying this is 6 years of the show, and I swear, dude, I did not think you'd been married that long. Golly, time. Because Sammy's not been married long, and I thought you were just right before him for some reason.
I'm in 6.5 is what I'm at right now. Oh, no, I was married 4 years before Sam. Yeah.
For some reason, I thought, I don't know why I had that in my head.
I'm a married veteran, man.
You're a vet, dude. Yeah, you've been through the trenches, dude. You've been yelled
more
at.
Than most pro bass fishing marriages,
You've been, and you've been, well, it's helped that you won over $1 million. You're successful at it. The ones that fail don't catch them. You're doing fine. Well, yeah, dude, you're a vet. You've been yelled at over using the wrong towels and leaving stuff where you shouldn't so many times now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're a vet.
You're breathing too loud. Yeah. You forgot that one.
Yeah, you snore. You were on your back. I got that one this week. I had to roll you over on your side. I was like, you were rolling me over like I'm in the hospital. Like, what are we doing?
Hey, I'll admit though, most of it I deserve. Most of it,
1,000,000%. Same here. Everything I get, I deserve. But new dad this year, though, man, and I think that first of all, that's just awesome. And as a father, like that's something that's just it changes your entire world. And Sammy just became a father as well. So exciting to see. But you also, I feel like, upped the ante in what you're doing on the road by you got Tyler with you capturing everything for your trimmed up series. And I don't think, cause I did that 1 year, and I don't think people realize the chaos that adds. And I know Tyler's a pro and he handles a lot of it, but that's just that added pressure. So for me, I don't want it to be taken lightly at how awesome your season was. Leading AOI, going in the last event, only missing out by 5 points with a 16th place. Oh, he finished 16th. You just didn't make the top 10 at the last one, right? Like
that was like the most disheartening thing. I was like, I didn't even have a bad tournament.
No,
I had a pretty solid event.
I
fall 4 spots, but that tells you how good those guys are and how good of a year you got to have for AOI.
Incredible, but to have the best season, consistency wise, of your career, on top of becoming a new dad, on top of Thunderdome filming with Tyler all the time and making, because you guys are just pumping out content and it's great. Content's awesome. It's entertaining. It shows, the ups and downs. You've got Joe Lee doing the gritty, which I didn't even know what it was until I saw that. I still don't think Joe knows what it is. But dude, did that add obviously you performed, but did that add any pressure, like the becoming a dad and the having Tyler film everything all this year? Did that add any weight to your shoulders at all?
It did. When I hired Tyler, I thought, I'm going to hire him because I'm not really a huge fan of social media. It'll take work off my shoulders. No, it was like 10 times the amount of work. But at the same time, like, I think it's good to just always stay sharp. Like there's kind of no off days. There's no off moments. You're just playing that game of chess in the sport, and content and social media is a big part of it. So, I think there's no one else I would have rather trusted with my investment for my brand than Tyler. And, shameless plug, and then I'll get to the rest is if you're watching this right now, go check out AJ Fishing in the Trimmed Up series. We put out like 37 episodes this year.
Hit that button, hit that subscribe button.
Yeah, absolutely. And, he really helped a lot this year, man. He went above and beyond. And I think at the end of the day, like I've always kind of noticed this is I like fish better with a camera in the boat. I fish better with someone like Tyler in the boat because I talk through what I'm, as weird as it sounds, like I talk to myself and it just makes me think more, I guess. And then, but the biggest thing this year is did become a dad. We can't overlook that. Huge. And it's a wild ride. Got a lot less sleep this year than I ever have before. But and everybody jokes around about the baby pattern and whatnot. I think having a child just puts some things in perspective, like of what's really important. Like, without going into any details, how he arrived was kind of a very stressful, not fun moment. And, it just kind of made me like, what's important in life is having a healthy wife and a healthy baby. And like, really all this other stuff is like I stressed about that a lot as he arrived, this is just, there were some scary moments there. And like, it just kind of made like the rest not feel scary, not feel stressful. I mean, even at Redcrest, like, I got a call that she was possibly going into labor, and here I am in like second place in Redcrest. Wow. And I'm like, all of a sudden the fear of Redcrest is that's not what I'm scared of anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
the nerves go away for the big competition days.
Right. And then, as I went to heavy hitters, he was 7 days old, like, and Kelsey had just come out of surgery. And like, there's just a lot of things like, like I'm going to go grind. I'm going to go do my job. I'm going to do this, but like the nerves just weren't what they normally would be. And I think it just kind of puts things in perspective, what's important.
That's awesome, man. And I'm glad everybody's healthy and doing better. And I think that's such a good point. And I've talked about that in this episode already is, in my own personal life, like you got to refocus sometimes. And I think that, yes, you're a guy that posts a lot of content. Yes, you're a guy that fishes the Bass Pro Tour on the Major League Fishing side, and you're passionate about that. But I think that, and we were joking about people in comments getting upset about live scope or things like that. And there's just a lot more to life than just a rod and a reel and a bass,
Yeah,
that matters the most, right? Whether I love MLF, I love bass, I hate live scope, Randy Blocking's stupid, I love Randy, whatever the case is. Like people get so fired up. And look, man, I do a show weekly where obviously I voice my opinion. You and I have had multiple conversations about that, but there are lots of things that are more important than all this craziness.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, and at the end of the day, and I've had to just tell some people like this on social media, like, dude, I'm just a guy trying to get a bite. That's all it is. And outside of that, it's all gravy on top. Someday I'm gonna lay my rod down and for the last time, and at the end of the day, like, how many bass I caught is not what defines my life. And
that's right.
I don't always do a good job, but my faith is incredibly important to me. And, so just like I said, putting things in perspective is really important. And another thing, like after I've tasted success, and I think you could ask any guy that's done this, like I've got a BPT trophy sitting here that I walk past every day. And when I won that trophy, I was like, this is it.
It's the top.
But then like that, this is it. But then like at the end of the day, like don't get me wrong, but it's a dream come true. The check cash is great. It opens doors, but like it's still just it's gone. You know what I mean? It happened.
In
it's
that
in the
moment.
past,
yes. Those fleeting moments.
So,
man.
The thing that we all think we long for really isn't. Outside of that one moment when it happens, it's really not all that cracked up to be for the future.
Man, Alton Jones Jr. spitting like the feels this morning. Seriously, dude, this is something.
Just telling you what I've had to go through.
Dude, this is so crazy. I think things work in very strange ways at times, and you can almost manifest, I think, conversations that are happening. It's very strange to me. But I had this conversation with one of my best friends this week. Mm-hmm. It's like you, and without going just in crazy detail, but it's, dude, when you get to, like, you set goals in life. And I think that's an important thing to have. But I think once you achieve whatever that is, whether it's like, oh, I want to make this much money, or I want to win this tournament, or I want to win this race, or I want to, climb Mount Everest, or whatever your goal is, when you get to them, a lot of times you've put in so much blood, sweat, and tears to get there. It's almost, it's hard to appreciate it sometimes, but the moment goes by so fast.
Yeah.
And then so it's just a thing. And then it's on to what am I going to do next? And we, as a society now, I feel like with social media and things, it's this constant flow of information or entertainment or whatever. And we don't ever soak those moments in as much also, right? Yeah. Like it's twofold, but man, when you get it, you can't hold on to it very long because it's gone as quick as you get a hold of it. That's right. An amazing statement you made, dude. Amazing.
That's why you can't put all your stock in your goals and achievements and all that. There's more important things in life.
Yes. Amen to that, dude. That was beautiful, Alton Jones Jr. I love that. And it's funny. I've got friends now, dear friends, because of this show that play music professionally and for some of my favorite bands that I've gotten to be friends with. And dude, I chase that and still write and play a lot. And it's so funny being with them and dude and the getting to go to shows that they play at these amazing venues that were just dreams of mine as an 18-year-old kid to get to step on those stages. And they're just like, yeah, we're here. It's just it turns into a job almost, and it's like, oh my gosh, these moments you chase aren't the most important things. And at the end of the day, it is family and it's relationships and it's being a good person. And I think at the end of the day, that's all that matters, man. That was epic stuff there from Alton Jones Jr., dude. And I gotta say, like, because you are talking about those moments, you're a guy that, and we can close with this today, man. I think you're a dude from the jump with the split that happened in 2019 and obviously well documented. And you've always been a guy that if I said something that was, you're like, hey, whoa, that's not how that was going. And we've talked about that on the show. You're like, hey, dude, I agree with you a lot. You are wrong on that. And I'm like, okay, well, tell me about it. And you'll call me and go, hey, you're off. And then on the next show, I'm like, hey, I'm wrong. Alton Jones Jr. told me I was wrong, or Justin Lucas called me and said I was wrong.
Hey, I've been wrong before too.
Hey,
I want that to be
$1,000,000%.
Be well known.
We all are, but I think I do appreciate, even if I disagree at times with whatever's going on, I appreciate the fact of you're passionate and you have defended where you're at in life as far as the league. Like you have defended, like, hey, it ain't all roses, dude. But this is where I'm at and this is what we're doing. And there was a comment you made on one of my videos not long ago. You're like, hey, I'm just here to let everybody know it's not all bad.
Right.
And I didn't want the podcast to be that it was all bad because I do have multiple good things to say. Like I think,
it wasn't that comment.
No, I know. No. I know what it was. No, I know who it was. I know what it was. But I want to say that it's cool to see that, though. It is cool to see that, and it's okay to see that. Like so many times, people will jump on that. Like, oh, he's just a hometown guy. But it's okay to defend your people and your turn. Yeah. Just as
well. Yeah, it's that too. But I mean, I think if people saw what went on. A little bit behind the scenes, dude, like how many calls and, hours are spent and spreadsheets are done trying to get things right. I mean, dude, things have not been perfect by any state. I'm sure you could have a 5-hour show on that, but,
with the whole sport, by the way, not with the whole sport,
no doubt.
The whole industry.
Just there's a lot of work. And I think that's what keeps you invested and trying to go, trying to pull that rope and promote the league is just all the work and the investment you feel that you've put into it,
because you see it
trying to get this thing right. I mean, who knows how many times we've changed stuff throughout the years. So, and that's all coming from within, from, anglers trying to get this thing right and trying to do this thing right. And, there's been setbacks, ain't no doubt, but, I think at the end of the day, I'll say this, I said it earlier, is we're all just dudes trying to get a bite and make a living bass fishing, and we're lucky to do it.
Well, I think with the 5-fish deal this year, and I've talked about it a ton this year, is I think it was awesome. I think other than the Cayuga debacle that we've all spent too much time talking about, and I think it needed to be talked about, 1,000,000% needed to be talked about. I'm tired of talking about it, though, to be honest. But I think other than that hiccup, and it was a big hiccup this year, I think this year was fantastic. And look, you're talking to a guy that I wasn't against the every fish counted thing. I wasn't at all, in the least. Like, I thought that was kind of what separated it. I found it very interesting to watch the 5-fish versus the score tracker deal and the live updates and being able to know what everybody had and watching those decisions change on the water when the guy's like, well, crap, 2-pounder's not going to do anything for me. Like, I got to step up my game right here. Like, I love that decision-making process live. Absolutely loved it. Do you see, I mean, is this here to stay, though? You think the 5-fish is going to lock in for BPT, and then the team series and all that will just continue to be the every fish counts, and that'll just kind of be how it's going to be for a while?
I think so. I just think, there was a lot of opinions on every fish counts, 5-fish, debacle. I loved every fish. I was kind of more on that side, but there's been, I would say, a lot less arguing about the format amongst anglers ever since we went to 5-fish, and so a big part of it is angler morale and making sure that guys are fishing the way, enjoying the format and things like that. And I think you look at the way the year shook out. It was almost identical to the every fish format.
AOY looked a lot similar.
Right. And so, I think it's just, it's really just preference. And I think it's here to stay. Now, I'm not on the inside of production, but I haven't heard any rumblings of anything changing.
Yeah, I think it's it went well, man, and I think it's funny to see, though, that people are like, well, they're just tired of Wheeler catching them, so they're gonna change it. It's like, oh, well, guess what? He's really good at just catching bass. I don't know if everybody
from the
knows
guy that talks to Wheeler every day, I can promise you you can make it a big bass tournament. He's still going to kick our brains.
Yeah, or a little bass tournament, or whatever you want to do.
Oh yeah, whatever you want to do.
And you can bring in 2 catfish. He'll figure out he'll be the best catfish fisherman.
Yeah, ain't no doubt.
He'll have the Ding Signature Series chicken liver soon. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is Jacob.
Yeah, no doubt.
He'll just invest all his time in learning how to
some custom VMC 3-ounce sinkers.
Yeah. He's got that catfish game on lock. He'll have his own pool floats for his live
strolling a chicken liver. That's it.
Hover strolling. Yeah, it's back to that. Everything comes back to hover strolling these days. Chicken liver. I talked to Jacob this week myself. We had a good conversation earlier this week. But
awesome.
Yeah, man. I like that guy. I always have. And I say this a lot. Jacob gets a lot of crap. And you know that. And he always has. And Jacob was a guy, and I always like to say this, but when my mom, and this is just personal to me, so whatever, but it shows me his character. For years, my mom was sick, battling cancer. If I saw Jacob Wheeler anywhere, Jacob would text, Jacob would reach out on social media to check on my mother. He didn't know my mother from Adam. And he's just, it speaks to the testament of him, man, and what kind of dude he is at his core. And I've always respected him, not for that, but Jacob and I have always been buds, and I like Jacob. But yeah, we had a good we got I will say this, we got our wires crossed this week because he took something at face value, and then he called me and I was like, yeah, what are you talking about? Quit being silly. And then once we got past that, it was good, but it was funny. He had seen a reply to a YouTube comment. I said, Jacob, why are you in the comments? Get out of the comments, Jacob. Best angler in the world. Get out of the comments. Somebody had sent him something I said thinking I was being a.
It's the off season. Well, that's what we all do.
I know. Yeah.
I might be in the comments of this video beefing it up with somebody. You never know.
I guarantee you got to be. Tell Tyler Anderson to get in here and beef it up with somebody.
He gets sassy at times.
Listen, him and Ronnie Moore. I'm going to say this right into this camera. Two sassiest guys on the internet in bass fishing. Ronnie Moore, Tyler's Real Fishing.
I think Ronnie's tuned it back a little bit lately. I need to check. I need to call and check and see if he's doing okay.
Do you think that Bass, now that he's like on camera more, the Bass is like, hey, you can't be sassing it up?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I talk to Ronnie pretty regularly. I think he would tell me if they pulled the reins on him.
No, they're not. Maybe being a dad's just calmed him down. Maybe he doesn't have the sass he always has. I don't know.
Right.
I love that we're saying
sass. I'll tell you what. Maybe he's just growing up, because I know it's unhealthy for me to be on the internet.
Buddy,
I still do it all the time.
Buddy, I can't.
By the way, so you remember that flogger video I posted that blew up? It's still going. It's at 27 million.
Oh my gosh.
And still climbing.
How many hate comments do you get on just because the internet's mean?
Every 10 minutes.
Yeah. Dude, so I
Every
have
10 minutes.
The only viral video I've ever had that I would consider viral, and that's anything that gets 1 million views plus, right? That's what I think is like. I've got some in that 300, 400, 500,000 range on Facebook, a few, but it's always the mean comments that put them over the top. I had one this year. I don't know what it's up to, but when I fell out of the boat, people were just like, I wish this fat idiot would have drowned, stupid bass fisherman. It's like, what, dude? More death threats in that video. It makes no sense. Like, I tripped and fell out of the boat, dude. Like, why do you hate me for it? But I got so much hate, dude, once it got out of the realm of our fishing people. But I posted a video, man, it might have been last year. A guy sent me a video, a guy I work with down in South Florida, Bill Applegate. Shout out Billy Applegate. Probably doesn't have the internet, so he's not listening to this. But he's a sales rep for TH Marine. But he sent me a video of a guy that claimed he heard a Bigfoot. Okay, dude. Listen, and it's on a lake like outside Okeechobee, a little small lake. And dude, these noises are haunting. And this guy filmed it from an airboat. Well, then it's a guy I know that works that's not a crazy sucker. Like he's a good dude. And dude, then he sends me another one. This guy goes back the next day and there are trees pushed down across this canal. Okay. I've seen it with my own eyes. It's kind of crazy. I don't know what's going on down there, but I posted
it's just some Florida bass salts. That's all.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's probably what it is ultimately. But dude, the video, I just like threw it up on Facebook and was like, I'm not going to Florida anytime soon fishing again. What do you guys think about this? Dude, had no clue. It's at like 1.5 million views today. And every 5 minutes, my phone goes ding, comment. And people, and it's nobody in fishing. Dude, it's just people are like, this is fake. This is the audio from the 1972 Bigfoot. Dude, Bigfoot. Bass fishing, we think it's big. It's not, dude. That Bigfoot game, I'm doing a podcast just on Bigfoot stuff from now on because people love their
Bigfoot podcast.
Buddy, the people love to argue about Bigfoot. They love it. But the negative comments drive those views, man, for sure.
Yeah, ain't no doubt. I'll tell you, after getting these 27 million views on it,
so crazy.
I'll tell you, the fly fishing community might be the meanest group of people that have ever walked the earth.
They are.
I'm sorry for any fly fishing.
Boat, dog. Same with me falling out of the boat.
Dude, they are ruthless. I'm like, dude, go eat some granola and enjoy some coffee, man. Come on,
bro. It goes. We're doing it right here. LBO. It goes like this. It goes fly fishing community #1 and #2 spots on biggest dorks on the internet commenting on stuff. And then everybody else is the next 3 spots in the top 5 are fly fishing saltwater people, and then just saltwater people are the top 5.
Oh, yeah.
Commenting on bass stuff like, oh, look at the little bass.
If I made $1 off of everybody that commented like, that's bait for what I fish for, I'm like, cool, man. Congrats.
So true, dude. You're out. Listen, when you're out here flicking your wrist with that, and listen, I'm not hating because I've fly fished a couple times. It takes talent. But dude, when you're using something that makes that BFS stuff look like a big glide bait, I can't get on your level, dude. I can't. I'm sorry. You holding this little trout that'll fit in the palm of your hand, buddy. I'm sorry you think that's okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry somebody hurt you in life and you got to make fun of little Alton for catching smallmouth using a float.
What they don't understand is I would probably have a great time fly fishing. I mean, I just like I said, I'm just a dude trying to get a bite, whatever it is. So,
but you won't now because it is a very and dude, look, to be fair, I think that maybe we've done that to ourselves with bass fish. I don't know, because we got the shiny boats. They can't handle that. There's a lot of things they don't like about bass fishing, us boat flipping them and stuff. You know, but I think that I think that you alienate people, and it's a very inclusive group, right? I feel like, well, we're fly fishermen, so. I know, and listen, I've got some of my best friends are great fly fishermen. Some of the Carter Andrews is a fly fishing saltwater legend and is one of my most dear friends, and he does not act like that. I could call him tomorrow and go, dude, you want to ride up here the Tennessee River and fish all day and maybe catch a couple bass? He'll be like, I'm coming, buddy. I'll be there tomorrow. He's that guy. He just likes to catch fish no matter what. But I also have some very inclusive fly fishing friends as well. This turned into fly fishing hate, and I'm here for it.
I know. I wasn't trying to spin it, but I mean, I'm spinning it. I'm
here to spin it.
I've got my feelings hurt.
I'm here to spin it. Let's go. Let's freaking go. Let's talk. Who else is bad? Let's talk. You bass fisherman.
We're gonna be the most hate. I'm gonna be more hated than all the podcasters combined by the end of this one.
We didn't even who knew we were having such a great conversation. Then we got controversial about fly fishermen. Now we're going to be canceled by the 4 people that might listen to this that also own a fly rod.
Right.
Listen, I made a joke about the dude singing about fudge rounds last week, and not even the fact that I thought the song was bad. But I just said, quit sending me that song on the show. And I had people who were like, I agree with everything you say, but you're a piece of garbage for making fun of that song. And I'm like, dude, that line's bad.
Hey,
I'm sorry.
Hey, you had to know you were walking into that one. That dude's the most loved guy on the internet right now.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Give me a red beard and a banjo, buddy. Turn me loose singing about Little Debs. I'm a Little Debbie fan. I'm sorry. If that puts me on whatever side of the political aisle you don't like, I like Little Debbies. Look at me, buddy. I love fudge rounds.
Hey, it's nothing wrong with fudge rounds. It's just like other people's, as long as my taxes don't pay for yours. That's all he's saying.
Dude, I saw a meme this week, though. Yeah, I get what he was saying. But my favorite part was favorite meme I saw this week. Somebody did like the don't tread on me flag. And they had a fudge round on it, and it said, come and take it. And that's why the internet's undefeated, dude.
See that again, you're going to have to send that.
I'll find it, dude. I'll find it because I've seen it several times this week on all the music stuff I follow. People are
that's funny.
That guy's a really interesting. That whole thing's wild. And I'm, and I keep up with that music world probably deeper than I should, but a lot of people are like, oh, he's an industry plant in the music industry, some industry plant. There's like all these crazy conspiracy theories, and the guy's just like, he didn't anticipate that at all. Saw a post he made where he said he turned down like an $8 million recording contract this week.
Too. That's wild.
It's interesting though, man. It's interesting.
Hey, if I ever get an $8 million recording contract, I'll hang bass fishing up.
Listen, I'll say this right now. They could hand me $8 million and tell me that all I could do was fart in a microphone, and buddy, I would be eating whatever caused that gas, son.
There's probably weirder ways that people are making $8 million on the internet than that right now. Let me tell you, I scroll TikTok and see some wild stuff.
Is that considered ASMR?
I think so. I'd subscribe to that, just letting you know.
You would subscribe? Buddy, I appreciate your support. I knew you were a good friend, but
yeah. Oh man, this has gone so much worse than I thought it was gonna.
Alton Jones Jr. I think we got to end the podcast right here. We've done a solid hour of amazing. We're getting canceled by the fly fishermen. We're getting canceled over fudge rounds. We're getting canceled over everything. And I'm sorry I drug you down this rabbit hole.
Everybody that stayed all the way through the podcast, you got rewarded there at the end. Let me tell you.
If you're still listening at this point, send me your address and I'll send you a box of fudge rounds. And some G-Crack I'm a Canucci's.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not sending you those. I'm not sending you those. Alton Jones Jr., I appreciate you, buddy, very much. Enjoyed it.
Yeah, man. Hey, thanks for having me on, Luke.
Absolutely,
Let's do it again.
buddy. Very soon.
Yep.
Little Alton, ladies and gentlemen. Go make sure you're subscribed to Alton Jr. Fishing. I think it's AJ Fishing on YouTube. Great dude. And wonderful conversation. As I said in some of the comments last week, look, I use humor. I try to be funny. I think things are funny in life, and I'm sorry if that like pushes your buttons on whatever side of the political. I'm the least political person you'll ever meet. So I'm sorry. The fudge round line sucks in that song. As a songwriter, the fudge round line, I understand the intent. It's not good. It's not good. But a lot of people think it's good. A lot of people think it's great. That's fine. Good for that guy, I say. Good for that guy. Oh, my goodness. Thank you to Alton Jones Jr. I'm sorry to the fly fishermen out there. My apologies. I enjoy fly fishing. I've been like 3 times. It's a great time. It's not something I'm ever going to do every day. It's a great time. If there are any fly fishermen listening, you know, thank you for sticking around. I'm going to take y'all out with some Biloxi Blues right now. Just like we do every week, pretty much every week, unless we play 64. Thank y'all for everything. I'll see y'all next week.
I never could make it last. Spanish moss and Civil War ghosts, well, I'm gonna leave them in the past. Any direction, Lord, I'll be fine. It don't matter east or west. North, south, wherever the wind blows, I'm leaving those burdens at rest. This highway, it does not know my name, and I don't care. No, I don't care. Heading my way for another place, and I got 3 good tires and a spare. Just a white line gypsy getting out of Mississippi with just enough gas to get there.